Hey guys, good to see you again. Hope you had a good Easter, good couple days off, but it's time to get back to it. Got that test coming up on Thursday, and I've shared that Kahoot with you um, to help you review a little bit. I know it's a little bit lengthy, but I wanted to show you as many examples as possible. So hopefully that's working well for you. If not, let me know. The first time I've tried one of these Kahoots the way I've tried it, notice there's no timer. It's not about speed, it's more about accuracy, so I thought that was the better route to go for this. But I did have a question about one of those, and I don't remember exactly which one it is, but it's one that looks like this. It says factor 7x squared minus 8x plus 1. I've had a couple of you ask about that one, so we're going to take a look at that one together. If there's any others that are causing issues, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to look at those with you. So again, that whole idea of factoring, the first thing I look for is can I take out anything? Do they all have anything in common? And they don't. 7x squared, 8x, 1, there's no common factor that I can take out there. And as a matter of fact, this is one of those reverse double distributive properties, but I've got that 7 in front. All right, so I'm not going to find any factors of 1 that add up to -8. This is where I've got to, multiply 7 by 1, do the factoring by grouping. All right, hopefully that's ringing some bells for some of you. So let's take a look at it. So I multiply 7 by 1, and that gives me 7. And now I want to find factors of 7 that add up to -8. All right, again, this is a -8. We can read that as plus -8 if you want to. So two numbers that multiply together to give me 7, but add together to give me -8. Well, that has to be -7 and -1. They both have to be negative because a negative times a negative would give me that positive, and -7 plus -1 would give me -8. So I think we're in business. So now I want to uncombine like terms. All right, so 7x squared plus -7x plus -1x plus 1. All right, so I just took that -8x and combined it to -7 plus -1. And again, those came from, how did I know to do -7 and -1? Because of these right here. It's not -6 and -2 or -5 and -3. It's -7 and -1 because I know those multiply together to give me 7. So now I start grouping things. I group the first two together, and I group the third and the fourth one together, and let's see what we can find in common now. So 7x squared and -7x. I'm going to factor out or undistribute a 7x. 7x times what gives me 7x squared? That would be x. 7x times what gives me -7x? That would be -1. And now here, a -1x and a 1. There's not a whole lot in common, but I'm going to factor out a -1. Because now -1 times what would give me -1x? That would be x. And -1 times what would give me +1? That has to be -1. And now here's what I'm looking for. The things in parentheses match up. I've got x plus -1 and x plus -1, so I can factor that out. So x plus -1, or I'm going to write that as x minus 1. And then what do I got left here? A 7x plus -1 or -1. All right, and all we're asked to do is factor this. So we have factored it. We've taken that expression and written it as multiplication. If you were asked to solve, this would have been an equation to begin with, but now we just set each of these equal to 0 and solve it from there and get our two solutions. Now again, remember, you can always check your work by double distributing this. All right, x times 7x and x times -1, -1 times 7x and -1 times -1. Do that double distributive property that we looked at earlier, and your answer should be this. All right, because that's what we're doing. We're undoing that double distributive property. All right, but in this case, we have now factored that expression. We've written it as a multiplication problem. So hopefully that helps. If you have any other questions, please let me know. But let's be ready for that test on Thursday. So look forward to hearing from you guys. Take care.